All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Friday Mastermind. Every single Friday for over 7 years, 9 o'clock Pacific. Todd and I have been putting on a mastermind. Deborah joined us about 3 years ago. And here we go. We got Jeremy Forcier. I think most people in the mortgage industry know who this man is, one of the true goats of the industry. Todd, anything you want to say to frame the call before I kick it off?
Well, I think any day that we have Jeremy here is a special day. And speaking of special days, I heard you enjoyed your birthday dinner. It looked like it online
Yeah,
tonight. So let's all make sure that we give Dave a happy belated 1 day late birthday. And it's just an honor to be alongside of you and always to have Deborah here. How are you, Miss Bird?
I am fantastic. Would be better if the Mavericks would have won the last game, but I'm doing great. Sun's going to the World Series this weekend, so fired up.
incredible.
That is awesome. And again, it's always special when we have Mr. Forcier. So Dave, how do you want to tee up this call?
Well, the call is all about how this NAR settlement can be a massive opportunity for a mortgage coach, not a loan officer. Like if you're a loan officer, give it a fee worksheet, it's quite a disadvantage to you. But how, as a mortgage coach, you can turn this into a big win with realtors. And so I've got some ideas on that. Before I share my ideas, Jeremy, why don't you share? Because you are a mortgage coach. I don't think there's anyone that's turned more loan officers into mortgage coaches than you, just through all your training and evangelizing. But why don't you share? Give us a minute on how you think it's an opportunity, and then I'll chime in.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, while Dave disappears, let's talk about Dave for a second. So Dave's birthday was yesterday, 60 years old. 10 years ago, I had one of the most fun times of my entire life with Dave Savage on his 50th birthday. So when you usually think 50-year-olds, you don't think like crazy hip hop concerts, certainly not at a beach club. All night, and we had the time of our life, man. Like we danced to Little John until the wee hours of the morning. It was like the most fun birthday in memory I've had. So happy belated birthday, homie. I hope that 60 is treating you well so far. You probably have to use the bathroom. That's why you left. Because
Well, very,
60,
very, very
yeah,
funny.
you
By the way, I still remember that epic bash that we had, and turning 60 was a little different than partying all night at a rave in Vegas. But that was fun.
It was one of my favorite times. So I love you, man. Happy birthday, buddy.
Mhm.
So a couple things. One is how do we set the tone for this? And how are mortgage coach users, me being a mortgage coach user, for sure, it's a mandatory thing for myself and people on my team. How is that helping you like in this conversation? So let's pretend that the NAR settlement never happened. Okay. So if the NAR settlement never happened, all the value points as to why mortgage coach is so important um, are even more important now. So even when forget settlement never happened, it was made up. Nothing's changing. Like everything that I'm going to share with you was working already, like up to that point to help realtors convert people, to help have better conversations with borrowers, understand costs with true transparency over time. How does it work? All of that. Now enter in NAR settlement is real. These realtors are in trouble, you guys. And they're mostly in trouble between their ears. Okay. Like right here. So think about it like this. If you are an inside salesperson for BMW, okay, or forget BMW, let's say McLaren, let's go crazy high end, right? The customer comes to you, they say, yes, I like that. I want to buy that. And you sign them up. Okay. That's what it was like being an agent pre-NAR settlement, right? It was, I'm a buyer's agent or I represent a buyer. They come to me, I write offer, we get paid, right? That was like the whole training, even philosophy of it was really that simple if you were going to oversimplify it. Now,
And
post NAR
Jeremy,
settlement,
real
yeah,
quick, I also want to insert, and someone else negotiated the deal. Like if you're a buyer's agent, not only did you just have to start showing it to them, driving
yeah,
it, the comp was negotiated. Like a professional salesperson already went through a process, already negotiated the comp.
yeah.
All you have to do is sell the home or the car, and you knew exactly what you're going to get paid. So I just wanted to add that caveat.
100% true. So now, though, with NAR settlement, post NAR settlement, right, is that they're all in their head because they just don't know how to articulate their value, and they're really learning how to be actually valuable to people. So the good news is that all these different strategies and things I'm going to share with you show you that I'm using and doing right now, both with Mortgage Coach as well as scripting, is creating massive, massive, massive value for all the agents that I'm working with, even if they don't listen. So I'm going to say that 2 more times. Even if they don't listen, meaning they're listening to you, but they're not executing on what you're teaching them. Even if they're not executing on it, you are creating massive, deeper relationships, and you personally are more valuable to the transaction now as well, because we're teaching them stuff that we have had to do our whole career, right? As far as negotiate, like literally, I kind of like it a little bit. So if you're a realtor watching this, I love you. I got your back, but it's kind of nice that we're all on the same boat now again, where we have to articulate cost and price and our value. It's a nice thing. And if you can learn how to be the realtor's true partner, right, and showing how you can create stickiness with them, helping them with scripts on how to present, making sure that you have videos on every single one of your TCA'S or rent to owns or cost of waitings, and you're arming them with this on how to present this into the market, you're going to get way more appointments right now. I find it, Dave, personally, it's been like the easiest time for me to get appointments with good realtors than ever, like right now. It's the easiest time for me to get appointments with good realtors, easier than ever right now. And a lot of this just has to do with like educating them on how to talk, speak, create stickiness. Because if we get shopped, so D Bird, Todd B, Dave S, like, can you guys agree that we get shopped in mortgages, right? You guys all agree with that?
All
Yes.
the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way it is. Even if it's like shopping's not the right word, because I don't think I'm going to lose ever, so I don't call it shopping in my brain. But I'm just like, oh, they need more information. That's how I brainwash myself. Oh, they're just requesting more information. Like they're not shopping. The reality is they're shopping, right? They're trying to see who they should work with. Is the cost worth it to them? So because we have been doing that for so long, like right now, agents, our realtor partners need us more than ever because now they are being shopped too, right? What value is communicated? How much does it cost? And is it worth it to that individual? So I can't wait to share a bunch of stuff with you. Mortgage Coach, TCA scripts, things that I'm doing right now that are working really well. And I'm happy to go in any direction you want to start.
All right, well, let's do this. So one, and I would love the audience to help. We've got some topics that we're going to go through, but guys, this is today's value proposition. If of a realtor, a buyer's agent, I'm a local market expert. I'm great at negotiating. I've got this trusted, proven team of lender, escrow, home inspector, appraiser. I've been in business X number of years. And then there's a couple blah, blah, blah. By the way, Jeremy, did I miss anything in terms of the typical buyer agent value proposition to a buyer? They come to them. Is this, did I get it here, or is there anything missing, glaringly missing?
No, the only thing that I would, add would be like connected, like extremely connected. Um, and then that ties in a little bit to local market expert, but being connected in your local market, I think, is equally, if not more important. And then the other thing that I'm teaching agents, right?
I'm a community leader.
Yeah, community leader. And if I was to add anything else, it would just be because you have blank years of experience. I'm having that conversation with lots of agents that are maybe 4 years in, right? Or less. And rather than years of experience, I'm telling them like, hey, number of transactions closed in your brokerage or you personally or in the last 12 months, like whatever. So things like that, I think could be added as well if you are lacking in one of those other areas, right? It would be like, we did X amount, right, of transactions in the last 12 months.
So by the way, I love
One thing I would add to that, Dave, too, is the off-market access.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, that's what I meant by connected. So thank you,
yeah.
thank you, D Bird, for like providing clarity to my ADD brain. Yes, that is exactly what I was talking about.
Pocket listings. All right.
Yeah.
No, those are the value props. And guys, here is the value prop that I believe in. I think it's still all those things matter, but I think that realtors who can add this value proposition, I help homeowners build wealth with real estate. faster and achieve financial freedom faster. In fact, I can help your entire family, your kids, achieve generational wealth with real estate. Like if you could make that case and then have a lending partner that can really make that a reality, like that is going to be unique. That is going to be compelling to borrowers. Jeremy, any thoughts or commentary on the future value prop that we want to drive?
No, once again, is a talking point that I am using right now that's not on there, or maybe it's part of the helping create wealth over time, is that like it's a true client for life. Like it's a managed asset. Okay. Like it's they're like the real estate asset manager. So client for life, I'm talking about a lot with people on how we all say the buzzword, but I think it's extremely valuable in making someone understand how they're going to be taken care of after they purchase and casting them into the future along with the real estate agent.
Yeah, no, I'm a life, and I'll think of a way to make this better. But and by the way, for everyone that uses Mortgage Coach, and when you think of Trust Engine, I mean that's what that's what we're building is a platform that has data signals so that when it makes sense to refi, here you go. And not just a rate and term refi, like we're capturing credit data. And when it makes sense to do a debt consol, we're going to let you know. When rates come down, we're going to let you know. We're going to help optimize financial freedom for life. And we have the platform and we have the data to do that. And by the way, for all you mortgage professionals, when we close this out and I show you our new Trust Engine app and I show you the Mortgage Coach app in terms of how you're showing net worth, I think it will all come together. So stay tuned. So, all right, Jeremy. So let's go to the stage of top borrower problems that you as a mortgage coach can solve in a pretty unique way. And some of just to get you thinking, and you pick which one you want to go to first. I think something like buyers are concerned: should I buy now or wait? That's a very common problem for realtors. Renters are concerned: should I keep renting or should I buy now? And then some buyers and agents aren't really clear on the different ways in which the buyer can pay the buyer's agent.
Yep.
Any other big problems that you want to call out?
I mean, the obvious one for me is just affordability in general. Affordability, and then a second one that I'm getting the most play on, which is huge value to realtors, which I will cover here, is like how do you create your own inventory with move-up buyers? Because that's really the lockdown segment of the market, at least where I'm at, is move-up buyers, like buy before sell. Like, how do you create inventory when there's not hardly anything on the market and people don't want to sell their house and then buy a house because there's nothing for them to look at? How do you create those opportunities for people? So buy before sell in my market personally is gigantic.
So I wrote down, how do you create your own inventory with locked in sellers?
Yep.
People feel locked in. Okay, cool. Well, let's get after it. Like start telling us how you're delivering that, and then two, how you're communicating that to agents.
Yeah, sure. So
Deb, be ready to ask questions and drill down on this.
yes, please ask me questions. You guys know it's my favorite. So feel free to stop me at any time. Like I want dialogue. I hate sitting up on a big soapbox and just talking. So please feel free to interrupt me, any of you guys. Ask questions in the comments if you have any. I'm happy to answer them as best as I possibly can. So first thing that I want to cover, just because of a realtor and how are you getting in front of realtors and explaining to them options that are available to their buyers should the seller not pay a buyer commission. Okay, like should the seller not pay a buyer commission? I think this is so important to arm our agents with, just to make their anxiety levels go down, right? Tell them exactly how they can do it, what to say, and then send them like an example, right, of like what that looks like for potential buyers. And when I say for potential buyers, this helps them basically lock down leads. So it's not even a referral to me yet, right? It's like me doing this for them to show their lead, like how do things get paid in option A, B, or C, right? So if there's three options, in my opinion, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through an example of what I made for, sorry, I got two screens up here. Here we go. Computer over here, share.
And by the way, guys, I'm going to label this and we'll have a link down below to it. but the buyer agent compensation total cost analysis. And
Yeah,
if you're a manager watching this, make sure all your loan officers know how to do this, and make sure they not only know how to create this, they know how to talk about this with an agent.
100%. So this is a typical scenario in my market, about a $700,000 purchase price. And there's 4 columns on here because there's 4 different ways, right, that a buyer on a $700,000 home, putting 10% down in this scenario, can go about handling the buyer's side commission. How does the realtor get paid? So I simply in the video walk them through this, and I just tell everyone to focus on the summary section. There's 4 columns, and I read them and walk them through it. So in the first column here, what I'm showing you all is that this is just how it was pre-NAR and how it probably will be, honestly, on call it 80+% of transactions moving forward, at least for the time being, right? So this is just a normal 10% down purchase, payments 5132, and their total cash out of pocket with down payment and closing cost is right around $83,400. Okay. So me explaining this in the video is that, hey, this is the most likely option, right? That is going to happen. A seller is going to provide the buyer side commission, and you're making a $700,000 purchase, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what the numbers look like. Now, let's say in column number 2, the seller is not providing any type of buyer representation compensation. So that means that you're liable for it, right, as the consumer. So I'm using a 3%, right, commission on this, on how the buyer's agent is paid. And I'm just showing them where it says financed in loan. So what I'm showing this individual here is that, hey, we can finance that loan, that $21,000 into the loan amount. So instead of having a $630,000 loan, you're going to have a $651,000 loan, which is the buyer side commission, right? And your payment is going to be $52.75. So your payment goes up about $142 a month, right, to finance that commission. But you don't have to come out of pocket with it. So the cash to close is exactly the same. So that's one really easy, simple solution when you explain it to a buyer of that if you can't do number A, number B is an option. Now, the third column where it says financed in price. So this means that we would be raising the purchase price by the commission, right? And then asking, for a credit of sorts in order to make that happen. So we raise it, it's itemized on the HUD, et cetera. And in this case, your loan amount is going to be $648,900. So it's going to be, $18,000 higher, et cetera. But if you look here, the payment is actually right, like more than if you financed it in the loan. But this is an opportunity for you if you wanted to do it this way. So your payments there would be $52.86. Total cash out of pocket goes up a little bit by $100 ish. So showing them that, hey, you can finance it in the loan in column 2. You can also finance it in the price, right, in column 3, or in column number 4, if you just wanted to pay for it, right, yourself. You just wanted to write a check for it, pay for it. In that case, your payment would be exactly the same as it would be if the seller was paying it at $51.32, but your cash to close is going to be $104,000 versus $83,000 to $85,000. So this just gives a really clear sense to the buyer on exactly how it can work, that they do have options. And just like any TCA, Dave and crew, like I always like to show what's obvious to me, right? So obvious to me is like, hey, column number 1 or column number 2, right? Like that's what, like, it's obvious to me, but it's not obvious to people that don't know what we do. And so showing them all the options and letting them come to their own conclusion as to which are the best options for them and letting them pick is critical. And this is what we're doing for our agents within the NAR settlement conversation.
And Jeremy, are you scheduling specific meetings with agents to go through this and like, hey, let me sit down and show you how I'm providing clarity and education? Is this like a specific meeting that you're reaching out and having? Are you doing, is this something you're including in, events you're doing? Could you just
Yeah.
talk about the different ways in which you're communicating this to agents?
So I'm done this 3 different ways. Okay. The first way that I did this is I was asked to actually do a presentation, right, for a real estate group. And they said they wanted me to talk about NAR and how can things get paid and like what the impact is. So that's why I created it to begin with, is I started in a presentation. So number one, I would say book a webinar, book an in-person presentation with a large group. That is excellent. It's a really easy way to do it. That would be number one. Second way I've utilized this is that I sent it out in an email marketing piece with a video embedded in it, right? As I sent it out to a lot of agents that I work with or that I'm prospecting with, like, hey, with the NAR settlement and more homes, on the market being offered with no buyer side compensation, I wanted to show you a really easy video that you can forward to your clients, or I can make one specifically for your client that shows that there's 4 different ways, right, that this can be handled. That's a second way. The third way, ironically, is buyers, and goes to Dave's point, you guys, like of how we're more valuable right now, is that buyers are asking me, does this include the realtor commission? Does this include, like, does this cash to close include Michael's? This happened just the other day. So Michael was the agent. Does this commission include like Michael's side? They aren't even having the conversation. They're asking me, right? Because they don't want to ask the realtor. They were nervous. They were first-time buyers. They were nervous. They were like, they must have read something online, right? They didn't even ask the agent. The buyer asked me. And then I got to explain, no, no, no. I'm 99% sure, obviously, if you were responsible for something, that would have been discussed already. I'll triple check with you, but let me go ahead and just show you. This includes like the buyer side commission already. You're good to go. And she felt great. And I was like, Michael would never, not tell you about a cost. I'll triple check. But guess who she was more loyal to, you guys, after that?
You. Yeah.
Me, not
Yeah.
Michael. Like me. She was like, oh my God, I feel so good. Thank you so much. You're so professional. Oh, thank you so much. Right. So making sure, so that buyers actually coming to me has been a big change, and asking me about real estate commissions. In the last month, I've seen that uptick quite a bit. And then the final way that I've used this would be one-on-one. But I'm not making specific appointments with people one-on-one on how to talk about it. It's usually me asking a question on, hey, have you started using like buyer side agreements, right, in my market? Like, have you, like, what does that feel like? What is it? And some people say yes, some people say no. But when they say anything of like, how are you dealing with it, like on the lending side, then that opens up the opportunity for me to go over like different ways that they can have dialogue with borrowers, as well as show them what their options are.
So Jeremy, you and I talked before this call that, hey, you align that it's never been a better time to recruit realtors.
Yep.
And by the way, how much business are you doing right now? How are you doing?
Man, if you ask me every different week, I will give you a different answer, is the total truth. Like, I have weeks where I feel like I'm in the Sahara Desert, like licking a cactus, thinking it's a water fountain. And then I have weeks like the last 17 days have been crazy, where I've originated $21 million in new purchase transactions. So it's like, I don't know how I'm doing good, I think. Right. So I'm really just like attacking the process every day. I'm not tripping off the results at all. I've been saying this for 9 months. I've said it on these calls, like, just attack the process, be intentional, all that stuff. And it's right now we're in a crazy big run. What I do notice though, Dave, is that other loan officers that work for me aren't seeing the same type of run. They're not seeing the percentages go up in the same way that I am. So it does come back to like working with intentional focus on things over a long period of time, being aggressively patient, and then boom. So right now I'm doing great. I'm going to have a freaking incredible, I had a great last 2 months. I'm going to have an incredible month this month, incredible month next month. Don't know what August looks like, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the takeaway for anyone listening to this, Jeremy is the #1 loan officer in market share in Sonoma County. The next 3 or 4 loan officers work with a very low-cost credit union in the market. He's one of the most profitable in terms of gross margin and less price exceptions. And then you just heard it. He's taken $20 million in business in the last 18 days. So he's killing it. And because he's an advisor, he's gaining market share. But you had mentioned that you're getting lots of meetings with Realtor.
Yep.
What are your best either script or hook right now that you're using to get meetings with Realtors? And then it sounds like things like this you're interweaving into the conversation. but what is the hook to get the meeting right now? Or what is the script you're using to get meetings?
So I have multiple, and context is important. And you guys have all rolled your eyes probably because I've said that 5 million times too, like in all of these talks. But I think context is everything. If I tell you something with no context, you'll be like, that didn't work, or I have no idea. Like, what did he mean? So, different scripts work for different reasons. Let's start with what I call master of the obvious. Okay. Master of the obvious marketing plan. So what I mean by that is I write this down all the time when I'm struggling on like, how can I meet this person? How can I, like, who should I be targeting? I go, okay, master of the obvious. Like, let's just start with who have you worked with, right? Like in the last 1 month, 3 months, go back 12 months, right? Who have you worked with in the last 1 month, 3 months, 12 months that you aren't in like a real relationship with yet? You're not in a referral relationship, et cetera, et cetera. So that could be any listing agent, for example, right? On this other side of a transaction. That could be a buyer realtor on the buy side that like ditched your realtor, or they already had someone and they found you through someone else. So just think about people that you have closed business with that like you're not in a relationship with yet, right? So I call that master of the obvious. The second part to master of the obvious would be people that fit into that same category that either have referred you, but you haven't closed business with yet, or they're working with a buyer that's not in contract yet and you're not in relationship with them yet. They were hooked up with a realtor. I think those two opportunities are the ones I would go after first. That's the lowest hanging fruit. And here's why. When you call them, you have something to reference, right? Most people get super tongue-tied when they think about what do I need to say? I'm cold calling. Well, this cold call is really simple because you're just like, hey, what's up, Deborah? It's Jeremy Forcier. We closed on 12 Skyhawk Court, 6 months ago. How have you been? I haven't talked to you. You reference something they know. Hey, you closed on 12 Skyhawk Court. Hey, you helped Mr. Littress on X. Hey, we closed this deal together. Oh, hey, you referred me this person over. Hey, you were working with Carrie Schneider. I'm making up names, right? You're working with Carrie Schneider, right? Like I'm the loan officer. I wanted to connect with you on a few things, get an appointment with you and go over how the NAR settlement is changing the game and how I'm helping my partners. And I'd love to go over and help you as well, generate more stickiness, create more business, and use this as an opportunity for you. So that's the script is really simple, but you have to reference something that is familiar to them. So that's where I would recommend everyone starting would be look at like who you've worked with or interacted with that you're not in a referral relationship with right now, right? If you're looking to gain more partners and contact them with a reference point and then ask for the appointment as to why you want to meet. And remember, it either has to make them money or save them time. Make them money or save them time. Those are the two most important things to anyone that you're not in a current relationship with. You're not at the, like, I'm helping them with their dreams yet, right? You're not at the, like, I'm going to give them personal advice in their marriage yet. You're not at any of those levels in a relationship yet. So you just have to make it about business. Save you time, help you make more money. Are you interested like in that? So that's the context to it. And I think that that is the easiest way that I've been getting appointments, even just from a text message, right? Like to people. And they're saying, sure. There's a gentleman I won't use by name just because competitors will probably go after him. Like that I literally sent a text message to, and I was like, hey, what's up, D? Like, dude, it's been like way too long. I haven't seen your name on a listing side of the contract in a while. Let's meet up next week. Like, I would love to go over how I can help you do a few extra transactions, and help people that are on your buyer team as well with this whole conversation about commission. He literally just texted me back, dude, sounds great. How's Wednesday? Like, you just have to reference though, right? You have to like, it wasn't even like this thing that went back and forth of like, why do you want to meet? He was like, hey, sounds great, right? Because I referenced, like, we've done transactions together, haven't seen your name on a thing in a while, like, et cetera, et cetera. So using the master of the obvious technique and just looking at your database, looking at the people you work with, the transactions you've closed will be the easiest way to get an appointment right now with an agent.
All right, guys, I just made a note because Todd Bookspan just called out that Phil Jones in the book, Exactly What to Say, has the what he calls OFQ, which I'm going to have Todd explain for a minute in just a second. And then you have the Jeremy Forcier Master of the Obvious script, which he's picking realtors where he's got a fact, he's got an easy opening, a solid fact that he can call out. So Todd, real quick, do you mind just giving everybody that OFQ so they can use it. Jeremy, let's not spend more than another 5 minutes on this scripting, and then let's get into another kind of buyer problem that you are solving for realtors and how that helps you. But Todd, do you mind walking everybody through that real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. And Deborah, jump in if I miss anything. This is just one of the important topics we spend a fair amount of time on during the certifications that we do. And it's really just super simple. I mean, Jeremy kind of pointed it out. It was just a simple opening. Hey, it's me, Jeremy, right? Or hey, D, right? It's just a simple opening. And then a mutually agreeable fact, right? So it was a fact that he helped him on the listing on whatever it was, 123 Main Street. So all you're doing is an opening and then a mutually agreeable fact and then a pretty easy question. And he just said, hey, what's been going on since then? Like, hey, how you doing? You're just asking him something simple. You're not trying to solve world peace in the next sentence, right? When Jeremy did that text, he had a little bit more of a big ask and a big question there. I would recommend, depending on your comfort level, Jeremy can do that and crush it. Most of us are going to want to start with a little bit of a bite-sized morsel before we take on the big ask. Anything, Deborah, that I'm missing?
No, that was great. I was putting like a cheat sheet in the chat for those who are listening so that they could follow along. So you nailed it. It's good.
Yeah,
Sweet.
keep going with the cheat sheet. And when Kristen and I interviewed Phil for the First Home IQ, and he was going through his process on how he would get loan officers and people to do it. He said, start with a rant, like an idea that you're passionate about. You just kind of rant, and then you ask the person, how does that sound to you? And then he said, and then you do an easy ask. The easy ask is, hey, I'd love to get your opinion on the First Home IQ quiz. It's easy. Like, who's going to say no to that if they resonated with the rant? And then he's like, and then there's the big ask. Hey, the big ask is, can we schedule a meeting to walk you through this? Or, hey, we'd love to get you an ambassador. And so, guys, this is the sequence. Now, in this particular case, he's doing a simple opening with a fact, but realize there's also a rant version of that where you start off with a rant. And I guarantee you, Jeremy does that instinctually. Jeremy, Bo, you want to tie around that? I mean, I think we've given everybody what they
Nope.
need.
I think that's solid. The only thing I'll add to it if you're like targeting true cold calling, which is the second context, right? So I didn't talk about the easiest one. Actually, I talked about the second. The easiest one is people you're already working with, right? But if you're looking to grow new realtor relationships, right, then I'd say what I shared with you is the easiest way for new. And then if you're going in really cold, once again, Dave, Deborah, Todd, like it's so simple. And I promise you guys, it really is this simple. This isn't a Jeremy or charismatic thing. Like you just have to have the right outline of like the purpose of your call, right? So the outline's introduction. Hey, it's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. Purpose of your call. The purpose of my call is, and you state what it is. This is how I do it. The purpose of my call is, I don't ask how they're doing. Purpose of my call is, right? I want to know if you're having trouble with inventory as well. I have a great strategy that can show you how to create more inventory and get your people that feel stuck that they can buy before they sell, right? With no hassle whatsoever. And that will also create more inventory. Do you have 15 minutes to chat about that right now, or should we set an appointment? Like that's my other script that I'm using all the time, right? Because once again, the problem, you have to solve a problem first. My market problem might not be yours. My market problem is, how do I get people to buy before they sell so we can create more inventory, right? That's my problem that I have in my market. So figure out what your problem is, and then you can cold call anyone. Introduction, purpose of my call, close. Introduction, purpose of my call, close.
So, hey, when we promoted this and everybody that watched it, you've won. The big idea is stop selling loans. And if you're a realtor, and selling loans. If you're a realtor, stop just selling homes and start selling how you help build wealth with real estate and financial freedom faster. And to the person that asked the question, a realtor can't do this on their own. They need a mortgage coach. And so you've heard a couple things. You as a mortgage coach can be more valuable to realtors. And then Jeremy also made the case that you can also become the captain of the wealth team with that consumer. Because now you're giving them even more value, how to pay your realtor's comp. So this is a huge win. The NAR Settlement is a huge win for every loan officer that becomes a mortgage coach and for every realtor that becomes a real estate advisor who works with a mortgage coach. Like that's the purpose of the call. So Jeremy, let's go into that
Let me,
that inventory strategy. Like
yep.
walk us through that. Unless there's something else you want to say.
No, let me just get to the right one. I have so there's a few things I want to go over. One is that the buy before sell. Second one is going to be cost of waiting analysis, which is really, really, really amazing for your realtor partners and the consumers. And then the other is rent versus own. Okay. So I'm going to go through these three. So let's talk about like how to, I'm going to give you a real scenario. Okay. I'm going to share my screen.
Jeremy, will
And
you also put your TCA links in the chat?
you got it. Yeah, I have them all up, so no problem at all.
And
So
by
as
the way,
soon
the
as it,
commission one, what exactly do you call that commission one? I want to make sure I'm using your language in the market. The commission
let's see.
options.
I don't remember. Let me see. I think I call it NAR. Yeah, NAR commissions is
Okay,
what I
our commission options.
is what I call it. So let me get into the right screen here real quick. Sorry about that. There we go. And here we are. Cool. So this is a real example, and I have this person in contract now. I made this before them for them before they made an offer, and I've shared it with multiple agents as well. So if you're already a Mortgage Coach user, a Trust Engine user, and you're doing total cost analysis, I want to give you a super simple hack. When you make these for a specific person, right, and it's a great strategy, copy it when it's done to a new client profile and just title it what the strategy is, right? So you already made it for a client. Like you can copy the report and then now all of a sudden it's available and you can do a different video on it, et cetera. So you can use your one-to-ones to create content for the one-to-many. Okay, it's just a little tip there. So this in general right here, let me get my video out of here, is someone who wants to downsize, right? So these are retired individuals. They live in San Francisco, relocating to Sonoma County where I live. They have a ton of equity in their house, but they really can't qualify for very much, right? If they don't sell their house, right? And they don't want to sell their house and not have a place to live. They don't want to make a double move. They're in their early 80s, right? They're just like, we need solutions. How can you help us? So I'm showing them here that there are a couple options. And in the first one, I showed them 100% bridge loan. Okay, so this is a bridge loan, 100% financing, private money bridge loan that they could, if they wanted the easiest way to finance it, right? It's just an equity loan and it shows that their payment's going to be $85.33. It has $33,000 total cash out of pocket. It's the least amount of money out of pocket option, is that we can lend you the full amount and then you can, move in, you can get everything ready, pay for the mortgage for a couple of months with reserves that you have, et cetera, while you get your other house ready. Now, the number one objection you'll get if you don't counter it in advance, which I'm always trying to counter in advance, number one objection is, oh my God, how much is it? That seems expensive. So how do you take that away? This is the same way you train your realtors, by the way, on the commission side. So what I always say in my video when I'm walking them through this is that, hey, this is definitely the most expensive option, but it's also the easiest option. And when I say the most expensive, just what the cost is up front, it costs about 2.5% of whatever you're borrowing, right? But here's the good news, is that if you execute this strategy correctly, right, you're going to get more money for your house because you're going to stage it. It's going to look presentable. You're going to be moved out and other people are going to be able to envision themselves living in the property. And you're going to make $25,000 more on that sale by having it in tip-top shape. So basically it's free. It washes itself out, the cost of this. So I'm countering the objection before it comes up, right? Giving them something to think about more. It doesn't mean they're going to do it still, but you're invoking some expertise, right, on them. You're educating them on a really high level and you know what the objection is going to be. So that's that option. The second option I showed them is that, hey, I can qualify you with a portfolio program that we have here at my company that doesn't count your departing residents, right, on a non-QM loan. If you just write a letter that your intent is to sell after, right, then we can go ahead and eliminate that. We have to put a minimum down payment of 25% down. They have 25% down. I don't know if they want to liquidate those funds or not, right? But I want to give them the option. So if you would rather do this, it is a lower interest rate and it's a little bit cheaper from a cost standpoint, right? 7.5% would be your interest rate and your payment would be $53.75, but you're coming out of pocket around $279,000, right? So that's a second option that we can help you to buy before sell. And then what I'm showing you in column number 3 is that, hey, you want to keep a small loan after you sell your house. You have already indicated that. So I want to show you that as soon as you sell your house, we can go ahead and refinance you into a loan, a $300,000 balance, and your payment there is going to be $1,975 a month, which is $2,000 less a month than what you're paying right now. Right. So I'm showing them that what that looks like. So whether they choose option 1 or 2, option 3 is what they're going to end up at, right, over the next 60, 90 days. And then I go one step further and I cast out to the future. I go, and the great news is when interest rates drop, and I'm targeting 4.9%, right, as an interest rate in the future, we're going to automatically refinance you. We're going to monitor that for you and make sure that you know when the right time is to refi. Then your ultimate long-term payment is going to be right around 1608 and 63 cents. So this is a great way to help consumers. And how I bring the realtors into this, Dave, is I'm always including the agent, right, on the video options. Always include the agent on the video options.
So I saw a lot of hearts, guys. This is a big problem in every market. And how does a fee worksheet loan officer help deliver and communicate this to a buyer? They don't. And so again, never been a better time to be a mortgage coach, to bring clarity to a consumer. Jeremy, have you ever done one that's kind of similar to this? Only in column 1, you put the current home so that it kind of showed the value of the current home. And then you use the net worth feature so that not only were you kind of showing this path of, hey, you can stay at where you're at, or here's how I can bridge you into your new home, and then show the net worth difference. So it's like you're showing you can refinance later and look at how much your net worth will increase in 5 years, 7 years, etc. Have you ever done that?
No, but it sounds like I need to. Sounds like you gave me a homework assignment.
All right. I
That's
call that the move up analysis. But if anyone's done anything like that, forward it to me. But here's to me the bullseye. Well, there's 2 bullseyes. There's one what Jeremy just showed. How did he, with context, tailor a strategy for a consumer to help them make a decision to buy before they sell? And that's a bullseye. And another bullseye is when you are able to show a consumer whether they're renting and they're going to start owning, or whether they're, should I move up? And you can show them the net worth increase. So that, the more you can show net worth, the more you're helping the real estate agent, who's now a real estate advisor, deliver on the promise of, I'm going to help you build net worth faster.
100%. Yep.
All right. So what do you got next?
So next, I'm going to share with you like a rent to own. And in this particular, this is a great strategy for all of you. Like if you're having a hard time qualifying a first-time home buyer on a single family residence or a condo, something like that from a purchase price standpoint, right? Like for me, this person I'm going to share with you next, like was qualified to basically 250,000, which is great. Like in some markets, and it's just, there's nothing available here for 250,000. So what I showed is what they qualify for compared to their rent. And then I showed them though that, hey, you do know that you can buy a 2-unit $500,000 property, right? And what does your net worth look like over time, et cetera? And you're going to get, $1,900 a month, right, in a rent payment from one of the units. So in this scenario, this is a great house hacking strategy, but really it's an affordability strategy to teach people what to look for. And this is a huge value to agents, you guys. If you're having a problem with purchase price points and qualifying people in your market, get them focused on something else they can qualify for that's higher using rents on a multi-unit. So in this example, this person's rent right now is $1,740 a month. They are qualified for a $250,000 purchase with minimum down payment. The payment's going to be $2,053.06. Right. Now, yes, we show tax benefit and principal paid. I don't focus too much on that until the end of the presentation with the client. But in the second column, I showed 225, and you might be thinking, well, why'd you show 225 if they're approved at 250? Well, because he told me that his monthly payment target wants to be $1,900 a month or less, right? So I showed what he's qualified for, but then I also showed them what he wanted to see. You always have to show someone what they asked for, even if they can't do it. Okay. So I show people all the time. They're like, I want to be pre-approved to 600 grand. I'm like, well, you're approved to 300 grand, right? But instead I show 300 grand and then I show 600 grand with like 400,000 down, right? Though they don't have 400, it doesn't matter though. That's what they wanted to see. How do I qualify for a $600,000 house, right? So he wanted to see in this example, what does an under $1,900 a month payment look like? And I was like, 225. Now that's going to be depressing in my market personally, right? So what I took next was I said, hey, just so you know, like if you buy a 2-unit property, and he gave me this number, by the way, 2,800. I was just using like 1,900 or 2,000. He said, no, I can, there's like places I've seen rent for like 2,800 bucks on a 2-unit. I was like, okay, cool. I'll use that. So I explained to him in the video that you can buy a $500,000 place. Yes, it says your payment here is $4,006, but if you're getting $2,800 a month in rent, right, then your payments literally are going to be $1,200 of what you're responsible for, right? Like from a monthly payment standpoint. And you can buy twice the amount that you're approved for, and you can start creating some accumulate wealth and net worth. I show them this down here in the net worth over 15 years, right? Showing them that, hey, rent is 0, right? Over 15 years. Here's what your net worth is going to look like, you know, if you buy the 250 or the 225. But look at this, your payment's going to be the least amount after rents received. And check out your net worth going up if we're using like a simple 4% appreciation rate. So he was stoked. He was like, 2-unit it is, right? That's what he said. He's like, I'm looking for a 2-unit property. That's what I want to look for. So that is extremely valuable to your realtor partners as well, helping get more people qualified and at a higher purchase price point.
All right, guys, I want to summarize some things, and then Deborah and Todd, make sure you guys add anything that's missing. So, topics today, when we promoted this, we said, hey, top ideas and strategies to help buyer agents improve their value prop. Guys, stop. You as a loan officer, stop selling loans. Help realtors stop just selling homes. Start selling how you help families build wealth with real estate and financial freedom faster. And Jeremy's giving you like 3 ideas on that. What are some of the top problems, like buyer problems in the market? Some buyers agents aren't clear on different ways of paying the buyer's comp. So Jeremy showed his NAR for commission TCA. Buyers are concerned if they should buy now or wait. I think you kind of delivered on that, but I think
no, that's what's next. I got that one next.
We're going to get that before we run out of time. Renters are concerned if they should keep renting or buy. Jeremy showed a house hack TCA. And then he also showed, this was a surprise, I didn't know we were going to get it, but how to create your own inventory. This is going to be a home run. And then he gave you strategies to get meetings. He gave you the, Phil Jones OFQ. He shared his master of the obvious script. He also gave you enough information, that, guys, you can get meetings with your current realtors. So first of all, make sure all your realtors know that you do this. You're going to get more referrals. You're going to lock in that partnership better. Ask them, hey, any other realtors you think of that I should be bringing this information to? Great time to get handoffs because every agent needs help. And then, of course, he's sending out an email with a video, not a voice, with a video. He's doing real estate group lunch and learns. I know Jeremy's doing lots of lunches and coffee meetings. I want to make sure we give Jeremy time for those other things, but Todd or Deb, anything you want to call out real quick?
Just on that last example, you could really tie in the agent with making sure that they put them on, a search that is targeting an area with good cash flow for, rental properties or being able to get rents. But that is a good way to kind of sandwich back to the agent of the overall team value is the only thing that came to mind.
Yep. And you're right. And so once again, make sure you include the agent on your emails to the client. They can watch it. They listen to it. They can say, oh my gosh, that's so great. I'm going to change your search up to 500,000 for 2-unit properties, right? Like you want to include them, don't exclude them.
Yeah. And, I've played this 2-minute clip countless times, but I'm really doing a training here. So 1 minute, guys, this is a clip from my interview with Shay Jenkins last year. And this is did a 30-minute interview, but I really want to tie this point home, guys, because this is how agents feel when you do this right now?
I was going after this huge, one of the top agents in Denver. And I had been trying since I was an assistant, I had been trying to get this person. And finally the poor girl gave me a break and was like, Lord, like, here you go, take this one lead. And I took the lead and I did a mortgage coach. And I was just like, you know what, why not? I'm going to CC the agent on here. And then that's when the agent picked up the call and she's like, are you serious? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, what, mortgage coach? And I was like, you're the top agent. You've never seen this before? And she's like, absolutely not. She's like, this is amazing. She's like, would you be able to do this with all my buyers? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that's so cool. And again, in her head, I think she was thinking, I'm up all night creating this massive presentation with all these numbers and graphs. And I got her business and she's one of my top agents now.
Incredible.
Never been a better time to do that, guys. Make sure you're
Freaking love it.
Yeah,
So
I never
good.
get tired of that. All right, Jay.
So last one, and this will be super fast too. And then any Q&A is great, but from you guys. So like, this is like a cost of waiting that I created, right? So this is for someone who keeps missing out on properties because they're looking at like, 450 to 475,000. They're offering like 5,000 over. There's like 5 offers every single time. And they just need to go up like another, 25 grand. So like what I'm showing them here is that this is if you bought now at 500,000, this is what your payments are going to be, $4,000 a month with 42,000 cash out of pocket. And I explained that like, hey, if you wait until rates drop to 599, because that's what they keep saying, if rates would just drop below 6, right? The context, if rates would just drop below 6, we'd be able to afford it like the way that we want to. What's really funny is that it's $120 a month difference. They just don't think about it like that. They think in interest rate, right? So I show them that, hey, you could wait until the interest rates drop. What's going to happen though is you're going to pay $550 for that house instead of $500,000. So the price is going to go up 10% because 1 million more buyers are going to be able to buy in the market, right? So their price is going to go up to $550. At $599, your payment's actually going to be more, not less, even if rates drop on the same exact house. And you're going to come out of pocket another $4,000 compared to if you just bought right now. And then how I tie the bow on it is I always show them the future refi, right? Like, hey, if you bought now, right, versus later, you get the asset for 500,000. It's going to be worth 550 when the rates drop. And then when the interest rates drop, your payment's actually going to drop as well, by $600 a month down to $34.58. So does it really make sense for you to try to save $120 a month now, knowing that you're just going to save $664 later and have an asset that's gone up 10% in value?
So let me tie a bow around this, and then Todd, be ready to ask questions. Anybody has questions for Jeremy, put them down below. So first of all, guys, you should have all these case studies on your mobile phone, and all your realtors should know that I am solving problems for your consumers at scale in highly dynamic, highly visual ways. And I'm able to show net worth when it makes sense, when it's tailored. Stop selling loans, start selling net worth with real estate. And then trust engine. We are not only just predicting, hey, someone ran a credit with someone else and they're cheating on you. Hey, someone just listed their home. To us, that's too late. That person's already in the market. Like, we are predicting who's most likely in your database to move up, who's most likely in your database to move down, who are the hottest first-time home buyers in your database. Usually we're finding it's about 1 to 1.25% of your database there's a good reason for you to call them. We call it some of the best reasons to call. And when that happens, we've got an app. Now, every time you get a new opportunity to call, it shows up. You can sort it by date. And when you click into this app, every button has a what to say when you call, what to say when you email. You can copy the script, click the button, send a text, and then we're giving you all the data that you have in your CRM, all the data that we have. It's all in this app. It integrates with MortgageCoach. So we're just getting smarter and smarter at turning this app into a digital assistant that's creating your TCA. And all in the palm of your hand, you've got this app that's helping you optimize the customer. So never been a better time to show up to realtors and say, hey, not only am I going to help you convert and improve the conversion of all your borrowers, but every time you're giving me a referral, and if you give me your entire database, I'm going to pull more home sales out of your database than you can pull yourself. So make sure that you are checking that out. If you're a loan officer and your company does not have the Trust Engine app, tell your management team they need to get a demo with us. I'm going to put a link down below where you can actually play with this app yourself. Our marketing team just yesterday put out a dynamic link so you can actually like check this out, by the way. Jeremy, tell me what you think of this demo. So right now, and again, I'm going to put this link down below where you can click on the app and it will take you through the app. Like I'm on a web page right now. I have to click over here, and now literally on your website or on your phone, you can play with our app. It'll walk you through the dynamic process. And again, plenty of links. If you guys want to talk and get a demo of Mortgage Coach, tell your management team about it.
Awesome, man.
Jeremy, what do you think of that app?
What do you mean? What do I think? Let me get my sticky fingers on it, buddy.
All right. Well, give your team a push that they need to do a demo of the new app.
Pretty sick, man. Awesome.
Thank you, brother. So Todd, questions, comments, and closing thoughts, brother.
Well, Jeremy's got a whole boatload of links. He was kind enough to gift us to his TCA'S in the chat. So make sure you grab those. You know, it's so hard because I could ask Jeremy 100 more questions and we would go for another hour. But I think the bottom line is this: is you just had a master class in Jeremy, who always does a great job of articulating it in a simple way that you should be able to, if you choose to be aggressively patient. I really like that one. I'm going to be using that one and crediting you a lot, Jay Force. But if you actually just use and just start executing, I mean, really, that's the bottom line. You have actionable ideas that you can actually stop right now after this call and do. Don't overthink it. Just think of the last 5 people that you can think of that didn't go under contract. Use the master of the obvious script to do that. Spend a few minutes today, create one of these TCA'S, and then start sharing that out to your database, to your realtors. And so there's just so many great opportunities that you have. And it all comes back to something that Jeremy started with. Hey, I'm a client for life loan officer. And Jeremy said something in Las Vegas recently that impacted me a lot. Jeremy did, what'd you say, 78?
The HELOCs.
7? How many HELOCs did you do last year?
Yeah, almost 80. Yeah.
Almost 80. And so he said, hey, I'm doing HELOCs that I did for free, that cost me money, that I made $200 on. He didn't do them like the rest of you didn't do them. You all didn't do them because you didn't want to do a free loan. Jeremy did it because he said, hey, I told you I was your client for life loan officer, not just when I could make money. And the crazy part about it is Jeremy's going to win big because all those people who think they're going to pay off their HELOC this year, next year, at some point are going to do a debt consolidation loan with Jeremy. And that client's referring them business. That client's telling the realtor how great Jeremy is. So I would really even just go back to the whole idea of if you're going to be the client for life loan officer and build client for life relationships with not just your clients, but with your realtors as well, go back through here and start doing these things that Jeremy's doing. He's laid it out. He's opening his playbook. You just need to choose to execute. And that was my encouragement for you today.
Sweet.
So killer. And by the way, Jeremy, I don't see out of the links that you sent the commission, the NAR commission TCA.
Up a little bit in the chat.
Oh, is it up? Okay.
Yeah, everyone's chat bots jumped in and interrupted it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I found it. So dude,
Are you going to socialize this for us here at the end and give your socialization summary?
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, that's what I was going to put the squeeze on Jeremy for, is showing these strategies. Because guys, at the end of the day, if you want to sell more, then you have to stop selling and you have to start solving and showcasing the problems that you solve. And there's not an easier way to do that than throwing up a TCA, use it as a green screen, and walk people through in about 60 seconds just to dangle the carrot to then get them to DM you, schedule an appointment, and carry on the conversation from there. But the best distribution channels, guys, are your social media. But you got to leverage them and you got to do the work and you got to be good with your words so that it's short and concise and it can create never-ending conversations for you.
Love it.
And Deborah, what's the link if someone wanted to go through your exactly what to say workshop with Todd? Where do they go to?
You can, if you go to Instagram, exactly what to say mortgage, or you can DM or follow either one of Todd or I, and it's in the link in our bio. So
You've picked up the notch on your social media. What is the best place for anyone to follow you? I know you're killing it on Instagram, but what is your primary social media platform?
so
No,
Instagram is mine.
Okay, no, and Jeremy, what's yours?
Oh,
I don't really know what mine is. I think it's Instagram. I hate saying it. It's just the truth.
why do you hate saying it?
Because I don't
You gotta
know.
reframe that narrative.
I don't like
Most
not
people-
knowing. I don't know. Like I
Okay,
don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. And that's what I don't like. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. And
By the way, you're gonna have to repost all the links, you guys. I guess I sent them to the hosts and panelists, so I apologize.
well, no, they're all going to be in the YouTube channel. And for the person that just asked for a link to the interactive demo, I put that down below. So check that out. But again, if you're watching this in YouTube, which is the big audience, you'll see the link. Bro, take care, man. I appreciate you making time for this. You completely
Thanks.
knocked it out of the park.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Love you guys. Have fun.
Take care, everybody.
Appreciate you.